What's going on, guys? My name's Colin. I'm a footwear designer, and today we're taking a look at the brand spanking new Jordan 39. And honestly, we're all kind of stoked on this shoe. Let's get into why. So I mentioned in our Air Jordan 15 video, if you haven't seen it, go check it out, that from the 15 forward, Jordan's shoes had pivoted away from being performance basketball shoes with great lifestyle aesthetic to being pure performance models with little off-court appeal for most consumers. I've had the good fortune of learning from legendary designers who worked for the brand at that time, like Miss Suzette Henry and Dr. Dwayne Edwards, who've said that at that time, Jordan's basketball models were meant to be luxury performance offerings like Mercedes or BMW. While Michael Jordan is still involved to a certain extent in a lot of the design elements of various shoes and other products that Jordan brand makes, this shoe, the 39, apparently got unprecedented direct input from him. The last few models of the main line have been focused on aerial dynamics. This one allegedly is focused on footwork and pivoting rather than jumping and landing. House of Heat stated that this pivot is inspired by Jordan's efficient on-court footwork, particularly his signature cross step, which has influenced generations of players. Bennett Shaw, Jordan's director of sport footwear, said, "The past has been very overbuilt and overdone, and obviously we see the comments and things we are getting called out for. Just getting back to the basics is something that we pressed heavy on this one." There's also a story about how the embroidery pattern on the side was influenced by a painted pair of Jordan 29s that were worn and then scanned, and all the wear patterns make up the pattern on the embroidery on this shoe. The brand is Jordan, the style is the 39. They come in at 14.6 ounces, they're priced at $200, and they're made in Vietnam. Jordan brand says if you want to play on MJ's level, you have to put in the work to master the fundamentals. Footwork, dribbling, passing, shooting. We're getting back to the basics and celebrating the foundation of essential skills behind all of MJ's iconic moments with a crisp colorway that puts simplicity front and center. That's what Nike and Jordan brand have to say about the shoes, but if you're really interested already in a pair of Jordan 39s, use the links below.
We get tons of questions, people asking like, why do you not have a simple neck strap? There's a simple strap, neck strap for camera gear, because you guys have your lasso link with all the articulation, you've got your big camera harness, the twister stole, and we got the double harness, but we didn't have a simple little slim neck strap. And so when I came to finally designing it, I was like, well, what can I actually do? Like, what's gonna actually intrigue me? It's fairly basic. Well, the problem with most simple neck straps is they're just built terribly. They're bottom of the barrel quality materials as possible. And so I was like, okay, well, maybe that's an angle. But can I make a neck strap that's built to the ultimate quality, that's as durable of a leather neck strap as you can make? So when it actually came time to designing it, I wanted to leave all that junk in the simple neck strap market with all the cheap materials and everything. And I wanted to pull all the things that we learned and do with all the really heavy camera gear and apply it to a simple neck strap. And that's why with the slim neck strap, we still use this ridiculously thick belt leather strap for the entirety of the strap. For the main structural strap, we still hand sew every single piece together in not a sewing machine, hand sewn saddle stitching technique, two needles on either end of a single thread, and you're weaving it like the same way they make saddles, same solid brass hardware as saddles. It's the same thickness of leather we use in our belts and our heavy duty camera harnesses. It's hand sewn just like our hand sewn wallets that we don't use sewing machine. It's a single thread with two needles on either end. You're weaving it the same way that they make saddles. So check out the slim camera straps below, and thanks to Anvil for sponsoring this video.
Starting with the upper, it's a bit of a mishmash of materials. It's got a tight Cordura-like weave. The bottom half is coated with TPU to make it adhere to the outsole better. The middle is some interesting embroidery, like I said, influenced by the wear patterns on a painted pair of Jordan 29s. The embroidery is 1.2 millimeters thick. The rubber has a weird sort of flap design on the tongue. I think this is influenced / inspired by the original Jordan 9, and it has a bit of a TPU bumper on the toe. It has these black stability bars on the sides that I'm not sure do very much, but there is one on the heel that I think works like a heel clip and a bit of an external counter to keep it a little stiff. All modern basketball shoes that we've cut in half have very stiff heel counters to keep them supportive. The webbing pull strap on the tongue is pretty small, and it's a little hard to get your fingers in. These Jordans are supposed to be luxury performance models, and obviously luxury means leather. There is a leather up on the toe and around that area. Taking a look at the inside of the upper, we've got various different linings. The heel is lined with a textile, the tongue is lined with textile. The quarter panels of the shoes are unlined, but the tongue creates like an inner sock booty that secures your foot in. The Jordan design team for the 39 says that we added a crash pad at the instep to help hold your foot in place and keep your toes from slamming into the toe box. Also helping with lockdown is a lot of heel sculpting. There's a lot of foam around the ankle collar to help your foot stay secure. That prevents you from having heel slip, basically gives you all the benefits of a stiff heel counter counter there. On the breathability test, it's actually pretty breathable through the tongue, which is interesting because of all that rubber, but it's not breathable anywhere else. I think maybe all that added embroidery hinders the breathability in that area. On the insole, it looks like it's a removable textile topped foam insole, but when you're trying to pull it out, the foam just shreds because it's made out of different colors of shredded up foam that are glued together. It's pretty interesting color-wise because they use a sheer fabric on top so that you can see all of the different colored foams. Moving down to the midsole, this is the most exciting part of this shoe. It uses Nike's premier performance midsole foam ZoomX. It's the same foam that's topped out our rebound charts and wins world marathon records, and it finally comes to Jordans. And not only that, they give you a full-length Zoom Air unit underneath all of it. It's our favorite air cushioning technology paired with premier racing foam. ZoomX has a pretty big drawback, is that it's not actually very durable. To make the foam so reboundy, they have to make it pretty soft. And when it's that soft, it's prone to tearing. Nike's had to support this fragile foam in various ways. In Nike trail racing models like the Ultrafly, it's wrapped in fabric. And then in the most recent GT Cut 3, they wrap it in another carrier foam of EVA. So how do they combat it here for the Jordan 39? Well, they use one of the best and oldest footwear technologies in the world, a rubber cup sole. Just like the Air Jordan 1, a rubber cup sole wraps all of the cushioning that is in this shoe. I think a lot of people thought that this midsole would be a drop-in midsole, but I think I understand why it's not. It has a full-length Zoom Air unit on the bottom. It needs all that rubber to make sure it stays durable. Regardless, the rubber cup sole actually doesn't hinder any of the cushioning qualities that much. It's still very squishy and very soft. Even though this very soft foam is wrapped in a lot of rubber to keep it protected, I don't think it hinders how soft it is very much and the comfort. Sam's first try on, he said that they're very comfy and very squishy, but he did say that it feels like the foam tapers off in the toes a lot. Other than that, they're very comfortable. We're getting anywhere from 5 Shore to 9.5 Shore, which is the softest midsole we've ever tested. On the ball drop test, it's getting 22.5 inches, which is the 4th best under ZoomX and Zoom Air shoes and Adidas Ultra Boost 22s. On the bar drop test, it came in at 7 inches, so it's tied for number 24 with the Ultra Boost 22. All of our rebound and outsole tests, the high performers, are all pretty much running shoes. So these are pretty solid results for a basketball shoe. Moving down to the outsole, the material is a translucent rubber. Stability is a big feature in a lot of basketball shoes, with tech like the LeBron 21 using cable systems, KDs using wings on the side. A lot of other Jordans use stiff Leno weave materials on the uppers, but I think the high sidewalls in this will help prevent athletes from blowing out of their shoes. Looks like the traction pattern is a double herringbone pattern. One runs horizontally and one runs vertically, stacked on top of each other, and herringbone traditionally performs very well on the court. On the outsole, both the inside and outside are measuring in at 70 Shore, and on the puncture test, it came in 115.5 pounds, so it's tied with the Jordan 37. So that's everything we can see from the outside, and so far we're pretty stoked on it. But let's cut it in half and see if there's anything lurking on the inside. All right, we got him cut in half. And you can see on that textile topped foam insole, it's got a super soft lasting material. It's 12 millimeters at the heel and 5.5 millimeters at the toes, which is a pretty low stack height, which makes sense for pivoting and footwork. The full length air unit is bottom loaded, which basically just means it's far away from your foot directly on the court side. What we're actually very surprised about and actually really excited about is that you do actually get a double layer over the toe with textile and leather. Typically on shoes at lower price points, when there are seams that come up against each other, one stops and another starts. But this one actually has a true double layer of leather over a full piece of textile that makes up the rest of the upper. So are they worth it? Well, for $200, they're pretty pricey, let's be honest. From my initial impression, when you look at them, sort of just look blank. If you look at the previous models of like the 36, the 37, and the 38, they all feel like they have a lot more visual interest than these ones. These ones feel pretty basic, but they said that they got back to the basics for this one. And I think you can tell that they put a lot of time and effort into the performance characteristics of the shoes versus the look. We had one of our editors, Melvin, go play 5 or 6 pickup games in them, and he said he was so impressed by the cushioning and the traction and the feeling that he would pay full price for them. I think that they're seriously a good performance model and probably one of our favorite Jordans of all time now. They have all of the technology. They may not look as flashy as some of the older Jordans, but I think they are solidly luxury performance shoes like Jordan Brand is known to be. If I played ball like that, I would definitely pick up a pair. And I'm even considering getting them because ZoomX is seriously just so comfortable. That's all I have for you today, guys. Let us know in the comments down below. Have you ever played in a pair of Jordan 39s? Are you thinking about getting a pair? What do you think? Sound off in the comments down below. And thank you so much. Peace, guys.